Good afternoon and mabuhay! Tag along with us and let's cruise to Alaska. Alaska Cruise is a short 5-month cruise season that starts during late April and continues through September. It is one of the top 5 cruise destinations for U.S. travelers. When planning your Alaska cruise, you will have over 30 Alaska ports of call on the itineraries I will be discussing. First is the Inside Passage Cruise. It is usually 4 to 23 nights starting from $298 per person. Most cruises to Alaska's Inside Passage are 7 nights long and typically begin in either Vancouver or Seattle. This round-trip itinerary makes this a very popular cruise vacation because of the convenient flight schedules and availability of affordable round-trip airline tickets in and out of Vancouver or Seattle. Longer 10 and 11 night Inside Passage cruises are available from California. Typical Alaska Inside Passage cruise spends its first day cruising the famed Inside Passage, a narrow waterway nestled between towering mountains, waterfront communities, and the Pacific Ocean. Then, depending on your itinerary, you will visit 3 or 4 of the following Alaska ports of call and national parks: the Juneau, Ketchikan, Skagway, Haines, Sitka, Vancouver, Glacier Bay National Park, Hubbard Glacier, College Fjord, Valdez, Seward, Whittier, and Anchorage.
For the Inside Passage itinerary, these are the top-rated ships available. First is Eurodam of Holland America Line. Next is Celebrity Solstice and Celebrity Eclipse of Celebrity Cruises. The fourth one is Quantum of the Seas of Royal Caribbean Cruises. And lastly, Grand Princess of Princess Cruises.
Northbound Alaska Glacier Cruises. It is a one-way voyage that begins in Vancouver or Seattle and travel north through the Gulf of the Alaska and end in northernmost cities of Seward, Whittier, or Anchorage, Alaska. It is usually 7 to 11 nights only. Since Northbound Alaska Glacier Cruises is a one-way trip, your cruise will not repeat its route by doing a U-turn back to its original departure port. Each day can provide a new opportunity to see glaciers, mountains, wildlife, or scenery without repeating a segment of your journey. Just like an Inside Passage cruise, Northbound Alaska cruises sail through the Inside Passage and disembark at Seward or Whittier. Once the ship arrives in Seward or Whittier, passengers then motor coach onto Anchorage, where they will either fly home or continue on the land portion into the interior of Alaska as part of an Alaska cruise tour.
For the Northbound Glacier itinerary, these are the top-rated ships available. First is Grand Princess and Majestic Princess of Princess Cruise, Noordam and New Amsterdam of Holland America Line, Celebrity Millennium of Celebrity Cruises.
Southbound Alaska Glacier Cruises. It is a one-way voyage that begins near Anchorage in Seward or Whittier and travels south through the Gulf of Alaska and end in Vancouver, British Columbia, or Canada. It is usually 7 to 18 nights only. Visitors arrive at Anchorage, then a motor coach or train will transfer guests to Seward or Whittier, where cruise starts. A southbound Alaska cruise will head down the Alaska coast, visit glacier areas, into the small waterfront communities, and then sail through the Inside Passage to Vancouver, where passengers disembark the ship. Compared to a round-trip Alaska Inside Passage cruise, both southbound and northbound Alaska cruises have fewer days at sea. This also allows you to spend more days in Alaska ports and national glacier parks.
For the Southbound Glacier itinerary, these are the top-rated ships available. First is Grand Princess of Princess Cruises, Noordam and New Amsterdam of Holland America Line, Celebrity Millennium of Celebrity Cruises, and the most expensive, the Silver Muse of Silver Sea Cruises.
Lastly, small ship expedition cruises. On a small ship, the focus is very often outside, on what nature has provided for entertainment rather than on amusements provided to occupy your attentions on board. It is a 6 to 15 nights cruise visiting cities and tiny towns alike. Each voyage sails with an expedition leader and 5 naturalists who will guide you through the many land activities Alaska has to offer. A small ship cruise emphasizes Alaska, not the onboard amenities. It's nothing fancy, just an up-close and personal vacation where Alaska and its natural treasures provide the entertainment. They only carry up to 100 guests, and the ship will go intimate to places big ships cannot go through. The captain can follow a pod of whales, pull up so close to a glacier so you can touch it, drift next to a waterfall, or even anchor off a remote cove close enough for you to take the gangway ashore.
For the small ships expedition, these are the top rated ships available. First is Safari Endeavor, Safari Explorer, and Safari Quest, a few increased adventures that can accommodate 22 to 86 guests for an average price of $3,000 per head. Lastly is National Geographic Quest and National Geographic Adventure, a Lindblad expedition that can accommodate 62 guests for $3,200 per head.
Juneau. Here in Juneau, you can experience the magnificent view of the Mendenhall Glacier and to see the humpback whale in their natural environment. Ketchikan. Experience and absorb in the rich culture of Southeast Alaska's Native American and witness the rip-roaring lumberjack competition of this comprehensive tour of Ketchikan. Skagway. Skagway is the home of White Pass and Yukon Railroad and experience the scenic railway of the world. Haines. Haines, Alaska is known for Chilkat Bald Eagle Preserve. Being home of the Southeast Alaska State Fair, the world's only hammered museum, and one of the largest congregations of bald eagles in the world. Sitka. Sitka is known for the Fortress of the Bear because wildlife education and viewing facility has launched as part of an effort to rescue two orphaned bear cubs. Vancouver. Vancouver is known for the oldest tourist attraction in the city. Capilano Bridge attracts thrill-seeking visitors since 1889. Glacier Bay. Glacier Bay National Park is known for the vivid blue icebergs, rugged coastlines, and massive river of ice. Hubbard Glacier. Hubbard Glacier is famous for being North America's largest tidewater glacier. College Fjords. College Fjords contains 5 tidal glaciers, 5 valley glaciers, and dozens of small glaciers. Valdez. Valdez, known as one of the prettiest places in Alaska. Valdez is home of the outstanding hiking trails and world-class fishing, unbeatable backcountry skiing, recreational cycling, kayaking, snowmobiling, northern lights viewing, flight seeing, and glacier cruises in stunning Prince William Sound. Seward. Seward is known for being the gateway to Kenai Fjords National Park and the best place to see whales in Alaska.
For Alaska culture, first one is Athabascan. The Athabascan people are from south central and interior of Alaska. They're known for hunting and gathering people who dependent on fish, moose, caribou, and berries. Next one is Tlingit Haida Eyak and Tsimshian. Like throughout Alaska's southeastern panhandle, the Eastern Passage of region, these native people are talented craftspeople. Intricate weaving techniques are used to create both functional and beautiful pieces, from baskets for cooking and storage to ceremonial robes, fur mats, and room dividers to clothing and hats. Their carving can be seen on totems and canoes, as well as utensils and ceremonial objects. Next one is Unanga Supyak. These two cultures are found in southwest Alaska in Aleutian Island. The Unangaks and Supyak live a maritime existence and dependent upon sea for their survival. Water determined their way of life. Their food came mainly from the ocean and rivers. Their clothing are made of Tatlesu skin and it has to be waterproof. Next one is Yupik and Cupik. The Yupik and Cupik depend heavily upon subsistence on fishing, hunting, and gathering for food. The Yupik people have been living in Alaska for almost 3,000 of years. They developed from their earlier Thule people who came from Siberia. Last is Inupiat. These people call themselves the real people of the Alaska, and their homeland is in Alaska northern and northwestern Arctic region. They largely subsist on what the land provides and still hunt whales, seals, walrus, and other large animals. And they gather berries in season. They also hunt birds and other animals when the conditions are right. For their arts and tradition, Alaska indigenous people are well known for their ivory and wood carvings. The nearly loss of art totem carving has been revived, particularly in Sitka National Historical Park. Basketry and beadwork are common crafts among Alaska Native as well. For their festival and events, Alaska celebrates all things wild and wonderful. And their most famous events in Alaska is the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race. More commonly known as the Iditarod, is an annual long-distance sled dog race run in early March. It travels from Anchorage to Norm. For Alaskan cuisine, Alaskan food is a product of its geography. Here are the most 8 must-try Alaskan dishes to summit during your travels. First is glorious fish. As so you know, Alaska is home of 48 species of fish, making it angler's paradise. Second is reindeer sausage. Once confined to street stalls, reindeer sausage have become one of the most state's iconic food. Third is king crab. Another of Alaska's finest catches is the king crab, known for its rich and meaty flavor and of course for its size. 4 is yak meat. Yak meat is one of the healthiest red meats of a leaner alternative to chicken, high in iron, and if that's enough, it's also delicious spicy. 5 is fresh oyster. The fledgling Alaskan shellfish industry continues to grow, and as does the amount of specialty oyster restaurant. Last is the berries. While seafood is the star attraction, come August, Alaska's world landscape transforms into a sea of red and pinks that is so abundant of wild berries. Here are some of Alaska Native values. First is always be thankful, respect for self, others, and also for environment. Always be wise and be responsible for each other. Be in a good spirit and don't take more than what you need. And last is sense of humor.
Here are the 10 amazing facts here in Alaska. At number 10, Alaska is home to over 3,000 rivers and 3 million lakes because this country contains 40% of water resources. Yukon River is the longest river in Alaska and the third longest river in the United States, while Lake Iliamna is the largest lake in Alaska that covers 1,000 square miles. And would you believe that this lake is also home to a legendary monster? Number 9, land of volcanoes. There are over 100 volcanoes in Alaska and volcanic fields. All the volcanoes were active within the 2 million years ago, and 90 volcanoes were active within 10,000 years ago and expected to be erupt again. Also, there are 2 types of volcanoes in Alaska. First, the shield volcano, which often mostly erupt, which the lava flows, and the other type is stratovolcanoes, which erupt more aggressively. Number 8, largest glaciers. Most United States glaciers are in Alaska, and on survey in 2011, there were about 27,000 glaciers. And did you know that Alaska is covered by 3% of glaciers? And the largest glacier is the Matanuska Glacier. If you have an itinerary in Alaska, you can go there because it is accessible by road. This amazing Alaskan attraction is worth seeing not only for its size, but also having its naturally formed into ice formations and that showcase how deep blue it is. Number 7, the Juneau. Juneau is the US capital that is inaccessible by the car. Not surprisingly, because 75% of Alaska is not accessible by road due to the heavy snowfall and extremely rugged terrain. So, how do you get to Juneau? Well, it's pretty simple. You just have to take the boat or catch a plane. Amazing, right? Number 6, a 13-year-old boy who designed the Alaskan flag. George Park is a territorial governor who held a contest to the Alaskan children from grade 7 to grade 12 to design the Alaskan new flag. And then this boy named Benny Benson, whose design is a dark blue background with 8 gold stars that form the Big Dipper and symbolize a bear, the indigenous animal in Alaska, won the contest, and he got an award of a watch with a flag on it and a $1,000 educational scholarship. So don't underestimate the child's creativity. Number 5, dog mushing. It is the Alaska state sport and once a primarily mode of transportation. And then speaking of dogs, Iditarod Dog Sked Race is the state's largest event. And again, the Alaskan Malamute were appreciated for their strength and hunting abilities that helps people to survive through the winter. Number 4, the lowest temperature in the state. It is ever recorded in Alaska the temperature of having negative 79.8 degrees Fahrenheit, or in Celsius, it would be negative 62 degrees Celsius. So freezing. So it is ever recorded in the place of Prospect Creek on January 23, 1971. Our top 3 fact is that 24-hour sunlight and darkness. Would you believe that the Barrow is one of the Alaska's northernmost city? That's why it gets complete darkness for 2 months out of the year. So when the sun rises in May 10, it doesn't set for nearly 3 months. And when it sets on November 18, residents do not see the sun again for nearly 2 months. Our second amazing fact is that Alaska is by far the largest US state. When you hear the word Alaska, it means really, really huge. Its total size is larger than the next 3 largest US states, which is the Texas, California, and Montana if combined. And if you know, if Alaska would be a separate country, it will be the 70th largest country in the world. And for our last amazing fact, our top one is the Northern Lights of Alaska, or what we know is the Aurora Borealis. In the city of Fairbanks in Alaska, its season begins in the middle of August and finishes in the middle of April. If you have an itinerary here, you can go to the city of Fairbanks and you can hear it in 240 days to see the amazing spectacle nightly. How amazing it is! And that's it for Alaska Cruise. Thank you for listening.